Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the That Scuffed Up podcast. Episode 60 coming right at you here. Stephen Hayden here on your left, Tommy Hernandez here on your right. And back with this crew, back with this duo back for today. Tommy, we've had a lot of whiffs going on, a lot of different stuff going on since we last talked. A lot of winning, a lot of playing. How are things with you going?
It's going good. So, like you said, a lot of whiffs recently. God has been good. It's been really fun. But it's nice to kind of have today as a rest day. So I'm very happy. I accidentally fell asleep for 2 hours after I got some dinner, and so I was going to be productive today, but it wasn't that productive today. So it's been a nice restful day. How are you doing, Steven?
We're doing all right. We're pretty tired. We're pretty sore after all this stuff, and it doesn't help that I'm not in the best physical shape, anyways, with the
Get out of
with
here.
the injuries and just being fat. But
Oh
uh,
no, get out of here. I knew you were gonna say
but
that someplace.
it is what it is. You gotta live the path. We've played a lot of wiffle ball recently. I know we're recording this on a Wednesday. We're coming off of playing a Socal series on Sunday, and then I played OC on Monday and Tuesday. I played a 5-game series over those 2 days. You drove out to Arizona, played 3 games on Monday, and then came back and played 2 games of OC on Tuesday. So, as we're recording this today, after all that happened, it was a lot of excitement, a lot of winning, especially for me in certain aspects with the multiple stuff, but also as well for Tommy, which we will get into a little bit later with regarding OC wiffle ball, but first, I mean, last time we were on this podcast, we were actually highlighting the MAW tournament in Pittsburgh, in which we were going to go. SoCal was going to go back out there. I was going to be able to go out to my first ever MAW event. And so it's been a while since we've done this podcast. We haven't even talked about that. We'll get into the SoCal Wiffle Ball Summer Classic later. We'll get into OC Wiffle Ball. We'll get into SoCal Wiffle Ball. This is very much a catch-up episode now, as our schedules have been very busy, just trying to catch up on everything. So, if you're ready to do it, let's do it then, Tommy.
Let's do it. Let's catch up. Let's catch up California and the world about what's been going on in SoCal wiffle ball and OC.
Apparently we got some Arizona listeners. We got more Arizona listeners.
Oh yeah.
Based off from us talking about the BOW series, fall fast pitch series and things like that. So we'll talk more about that as we start to get closer to that event as well. It's not going to be something for today unless we get a little sneak peek or something here or there. But I mean, obviously you're involved with BOW there, so maybe we can talk about the league a little bit at the end or something like that. We shall see. But
let's talk about this Pittsburgh tournament. Let's talk about this tournament.
That's exactly where I headed. This happened about 5 weeks ago at this point, about 5.5 weeks ago.
Jeez.
That was May 24th. Yeah, so that's how long it's been since we've put up the podcast, because I know I put up that podcast like a week or so after that happened. But we had the Mitten Boys. We had myself. We had Dustin. We had Jackson Pearson. We had Sawyer. The same group that won the Mitten was able to make it out to the MAW event in Pittsburgh, in which SoCal was able to have a good opening day. End up making to the quarterfinals with just Dustin, Jeremy Adams, and Sawyer. So they were off. It was off to a good start for them. Even a good start for you guys as well, as you went out with the Cajuns. You guys finished with a Final 8 appearance as well. Made it to the quarterfinals. So good job to you guys. I just saw the Cajuns were out there for the most recent MAW tournament. Didn't have the most success out there, but sounds like they will be going out to possibly
tough
more.
Schedule. They had to face a tough schedule this last one.
Yeah. I saw Tom Gannon join the Cajuns for this one. Yeah, but I think the Marshall brothers and Nick Martinez and Andrew Leday out there, which I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work in terms of points, or whether you guys are playing for fun, because technically you guys have had 7 people play for you, but that's not my concern. That's not a concern for today.
Yeah, it's more Ma's just for Cajuns. The Ma is more of a spot to get reps in for UIFs. That's what we talked about. So that's more of what it is for us, because all of us are so far out from Pittsburgh are from Pennsylvania that it's hard to like all be able to go consistently. So it was more to use to get more reps against that competition. See arms that we might see at UIS see bats that we might see at UIS and be able to like do some of that.
Yeah, touche with you on that one there. With me and Dustin being out in California and things like that. So, but anyways, let's get back to it. At Pittsburgh MAW, the first event that was out of York of the year. We just had another one recently, which we could talk about later as well if needed. But we end up heading out to Pittsburgh. End up going to North Strabane Park, out there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We end up with a relatively tough draw, in my opinion. We started off with an easier game versus a local team, and then we had the new school risers there in game 2, and then we had to face the Juggernauts there in game 3, which, even though they were shorthanded, it's never easy to play the Juggernauts at all.
Still the Jugs. The Jugs.
Exactly. They're still the defending world champions, even if not all of their members are there or anything like that. So, but I mean, first off, we had our first game of the day versus the local team. I'm blanking on the name of the team. I could find it if I look around, but I want to focus on the podcast here, but I'll keep it short as well. And this one ended up being a 10-0 game. We ended up winning this one in 2 innings. I think Dustin and I each hit a home run. We just had some hits all around and things like that. Dustin pitched this game through a perfect 2 innings. Which, he's just continued the Moss success. He pitched 12 innings the previous one, so saving his arm, keeping it just down to 2 for this one. So good job by him. We also had a lot more arms for.
You gotta save your ace. You gotta save your ace. You gotta keep him ready for the big ones.
Well, we'll talk about this a little later, but he was warming up for another game just in case. So we could discuss that later. But end up taking that first one relatively easily. Move on to our second game versus the New School Risers, which this is their first game of the day. So we're facing them completely fresh. After some discussion a couple nights ago, just trying to figure things out, end up rolling with me out there on the mound, and we end up facing a Caleb Jeter, who's a relatively new, hard throwing lefty pitcher. Get that as our matchup. The bats worked early for both sides. Both teams able to get some base runners early. I end up hitting an RBI double in the 3rd inning to give us a 1-0 lead. Caleb Jeter bounces right back in the bottom of the 3rd, hits a solo shot after just hitting a very long single in the 1st inning. So it's a 1-1 score. We keep going through 5. No one can break the deadlock. Caleb and I are both throwing good, keeping the runs off the board, not allowing any runners to get across. We head into extras. Jackson Pearson takes them out in extras, just to try to help secure the win and try to save my arm possibly for the next game as well, or just to make sure we get that win, because in these tournaments you need to go 2-1 in order to advance to the playoffs. So that was the goal, especially with the Jugs coming up. You don't want to leave it to risk versus the Jugs. So Jackson comes in, he shuts things down. We get to the top of the 8th inning, in which funny story, the at opening day for MAW last year in 2024, Socal and the Risers played against each other. We got to that game got to 9 innings, and in the top of the 9th inning, Dustin hit a 2 RBI single, which ended up being the game-winning hit for Socal. And a very similar thing happened here in the 8th. First pitch he saw in the bottom of the 8th, starting with bases loaded, nobody out. It's a home run to right center field. It ends up hitting a grand slam, gives us a 5-1 lead, and from there Jackson shut it down, 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 8th, and we end up taking that one 5-1 to improve to 2-0 on the day, which guarantees us a spot in the playoff, which is all we really wanted there, to be honest. So overall, very good game from us. Had some good.
Shout out Dustin for one of the. Yeah, shout out Dustin for one of the best swings I've seen him take. Like, he's worked really hard on getting that swing better, and he just unloaded on that ball, and he did. That was a great shout out, Dustin, for a fantastic swing, and Mr. Clutch out there in the second game.
Yeah, he didn't have a ton of hits out there, as we'll get into, but his hits did come in clutch, which we'll talk about. His one other main hit later. I mean, the first game, it's kind of like it's hard to count those hits and things like that. So, but
Yeah.
I believe he only had 2 hits on the day. We'll talk about the other one later because that one was an important hit as well. But that one gave us the win. I threw 5 innings. Jackson Pearson threw 3. He ended up getting the win. We advanced to 2-0. We go to take on the Juggernauts there. Both of us 2-0 at this point. So this game, it's like this is really just for seeding or to see who wants to go 3-0. Basically, we're both guaranteed a playoff spot, so it's just more just kind of have fun and relax. And we got put on a field that the wind was blowing really really hard against us, and with some higher grass up there as well. So it was just one of those. You just got to try to see when someone's going to get a run across, if it's going to be possible. You're not really expecting a home run in this kind of game. However, that is actually exactly what happened in the top of the 4th inning. I had a couple hits up to that point. I believe Dustin had I believe Jackson had a hit, but in the 4th inning, with a runner on and 2 outs, I believe Sawyer finds himself a drop pitch to hit. Hits it to center. Wind's not blowing in as hard, but it's blowing to right field. Ends up carrying out to right field. Carries over the fence for a 2-run homer. Gives us a 2-0 lead. This was a me versus Chase Oliver matchup on the mound. So I threw this entire game. End up shutting out the Jugs, and like I said, which a lot of factors going in the favor of the pitcher, which is what I like. I love the wind blowing blowing with me, like blowing in towards the zone. But we were able to win that one 2-0 versus the Jugs and find ourselves 3-0 as we go into elimination round, being the only 3-0 team in pool play actually, given how the other results went. So ended up automatically getting the 1 seed. I don't know how much you were following along and things like that, like during the day. I know you were probably busy with stuff, but I want to get you involved in here as well, just so you're not just sitting there and just bored out of your mind or anything like that. But
Not bored or anything. I'm your guys' number 1 fan. Of course, I follow along. I was watching you guys while we were playing Wiffles because it was Socal that week. We had Socal going on, so I was playing my series and watching other series while watching you guys.
Sounds
yeah,
we appreciate that. We appreciate you have you guys
I'm
checking in.
I'm your guys' one of your guys' top fans, Steven. Come on.
Try to keep you guys somewhat updated, especially when we get to the championship game, which we'll talk about a little later. But yeah, we end up being the only 3-0 team at that point. We had only given up. Actually, we hadn't given up. Oh, we only gave up 1 run at that point. Yeah, I did give up 1 run to the Risers.
Yeah.
So off to a good start. So there were 12 teams in this tournament. There ended up being 6 that were either 2-1 or with us being 3-0. So we got a bye into the semifinals, which was very nice for us, and it was also nice because I felt like going into this. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
Going into this, we had some of the best situations with arms used and things like that. I'd thrown 10 innings at this point, and at this point we still got a fresh Sawyer being and only Jackson Pearson, who's only thrown 3 innings so far. So just to throw 2 games between them is more than enough. I felt, even if I needed to possibly throw a little bit more, that would have been okay, but. Obviously, they weren't going to let me do that. Jackson and Sawyer wanted it, so it's like, okay, fair enough.
They were ready.
Can't blame if I've already thrown 10 innings in the day. So, but yeah, just based off how the seeding worked, we were waiting the winner of the Juggernauts and the Dragons, which the Dragons were out there playing. They weren't playing for points; they were playing for fun, as they had. They had Dougie Baker, they had Nick Lee, who's the captain, and then his brother Vin Lee, who normally plays with Earl, was out there playing with the Dragons today. So that's why they were not playing for 8 points or anything like that. It's a whole bunch of complicated stuff with them getting disqualified after restart with points. So they just started playing with for fun. Vin used to play on the Dragons in the past, so just wanted a day we could go out and have fun with his
some brotherly love.
Like exactly. They grew up playing together, playing against each other, so they're still all just right there. So love to see it.
Did they have a 4th?
No, it was just those 3 for that game. for them that day. Um, but actually right away, Luke Richter went on the mound to face them, and Dragons. I think their first 5 batters all scored. Luke was dealing with some elbow issues. The Dragons actually ended up taking that one 9-1, which I guess Luke can blame the knife of the ball if he wants to. He before the tournament, Luke came up to us just asking if one of us had a knife because he needed to cut some balls, and he just took my knife, had it for, and when we went to go play for him Game 3, he just gave me my knife back. I was like, all right, cool, thanks. So he can blame the knife if he wants to. So I mean, it sounds like he does actually have some elbow stuff, but.
Even Steven put some of his elbow pain onto the knife so that he would have hit some of his elbow pain,
Yeah, I wish. So so we get to the semifinals match. We end up facing the Dragons. Got a fresh Sawyer for that game, so it's like, you know what? Let's make sure at least everyone gets a chance to pitch, and Sawyer feels ready. You get Sawyer for this game, and then you get Jackson for the final. So Sawyer went out there. Right away in the top of the first inning, Vin Lee worked a walk, and then also brought himself in with a 2-run homer, making it 2-0 early. And then we had to go face Vin Lee on the mound, which anyone who's that's a top 5 player in the world right there. You got to go try to face. Never an easy task. We saw that in the first inning. Although the wind was playing a factor, Jackson's first at bat was like a pop up that just blew over Vin's head as he was trying to run and catch it. So we knew it was going to be a factor. Sawyer shut it down the top of the second inning, and then bottom of the second inning, first pitch I saw in my at bat with 1 out. I hit one. It was like near the end of the bat, but good enough on the barrel. Hit it out to just to the right of center field. Hit it over the fence for a solo home run. So we're feeling good. We're feeling back into it. Which is actually funny because right before, while we were waiting around, Dustin was asking, he was like, "Oh, when's the last time you had a home run versus some actual pitching and stuff like that?" I was like, "All right, dude, relax," because. Actually, some of the tournaments last year, some of the like you whiffs and BLW last year, I didn't have a home run, so we got to keep each other honest. But I did have my home run there.
Steven's a singles guy. Steven likes hitting his singles.
We just I had 12 hits at UWIFs and
you just
9 of them were singles.
Doubles and singles, doubles and singles. That's what you do. I took some notes. That's what I stole from you to take the BLW. I just hit singles and doubles and triples out there. I don't hit homers. Who hits homers? That's lame.
Well, we'll talk more about homers as we get later into this, as regarding the game when we played each other. But that's a while away. But I get my solo homer there, make it 2-1. Jackson Pearson comes up next pitch, hits a homer out to center field. We end up going back-to-back pitches, make it 2-2. So we're feeling good. Sawyer keeps throwing well on the mound, shuts him out in the third, and then with 2 outs in the bottom of the third, Dustin gets his other main hit of the day. It's just a ball that just flushed out to right field. Ends up making it 3-2. Sawyer ends up shutting it down on the mound. We closed it out for him. Primarily a lot of strikeouts. We had a couple little defensive plays in there. I think I had a catch or 2. Just make sure we're good. End up holding the Dragons, and we take this one 3-2 to advance to the final. Which for us, it was the first time making it to a semifinal in general. But now we're making it to our first MAW final, our first final on the East Coast. We're feeling pretty good at this point. We're 4-0 at this point, and it was a real competitive game. It was a real fun game. You can see on the We Came for This Instagram. They did a highlight video of some stuff from that game. So that was fun.
That's what that stands for? WCFT, We Came for This? Oh, I'm so dumb. That was like a wiffle ball something. Sorry, Nico. If you watch this, I'm so sorry.
The OGs of the We Came for This. He used to have his full name as the wiffle ball as his Instagram tag. So, or also on his YouTube page, that used to be his full name for the page and things like that. So, for the OG followers out there, if you know.
Not bad.
So It's all right. You're new. You're new. It's all good. Now you know.
New to
Now
this
you know.
film.
You learn something new
Now
every
you
day.
know.
Even though,
I didn't even know
even
his name was Nico until like 2 weeks ago.
yep, Nico Ruiz for we came for this wiffle, but yeah, we end up making it to the final. On the other side of the brackets, the Risers were able to bounce back after the loss to us. They had another extra inning game versus the Stompers, which they won, and then beat the Dinos to make it 2-1 and make it into the elimination round. They had to play the Dinos again, which they beat, and then they had to play the 2-seed Great Lakes Legion. Which that was a whole interesting story about how Kyle von Schlossingen got there. He missed 2 of his 3 flights and got there at like 10:30 a.m. with no sleep, and he just came out there and started chucking. But Risers were able to take this one. They scored early off RJ Walgate was pitching in that one early before Kyle had to go in. But Risers end up winning that one. They make it to the final. So in the final we got a rematch of our earlier pool play game, which was us versus the Risers. So which was very 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 interesting to see. It's not something you see too often sometimes, but. It works out the way they did. Ben Doolin was chucking the whole day. I think he ended up throwing like 20 plus innings on the day.
Jeez.
Which he started on the mound for them, and for us we had in that final we had Jackson Pearson going. Jackson was looking real good. We'll talk about it as we get later in the game, but he was cruising for the first 4 innings, held him scoreless for the first 4. And we didn't hit any home runs, but we were slowly getting the runs across. We got at least one run across each inning. The game started off with a walk, and then I hit a double off of Ben Doolin. We were able to get another run. We scored 2 in the first, and then we scored a run in the second, the third, and the fourth. The bats were just rolling. Dustin was finding his way on base. I think I had 3 hits in this game. After the first inning, Caleb Jeter came back into pitch versus us again. He went through the second through the 5th inning. I got a couple hits off him. Jackson had a couple hits off him. I think Sawyer had a hit or 2 off him. So we were just rolling. We're up 5-0 as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Jackson's still cruising at this point, doing really well. Gets his first 2 guys out, no problem. Then with 2 outs, that's when things start getting interesting. So with two outs, Caleb Jeter comes up to the plate, takes the riser and hits it for a home run, makes it 5-1. It's like, okay, darn, we're not going to get the shutout. All right, that's fine. We're just going to have to move on, work to get the last out. Jerry Hill's next up to the plate. Second pitch of his at bat. He hits a ground ball to Jackson Pearson. Jackson Pearson thought he threw a riser into the net. Had the grip backwards. Ends up throwing the drop that lands about 10 feet in front of the net for a single. So Ben Doolin comes up to the plate. First pitch Ben Doolin sees. He hits a 2-run homer. All of a sudden we went from 5-0 with 2 outs to now it's 5-3, which this may sound familiar for later in the episode when we talk about a comeback. And then Caleb comes up. Caleb comes up again. In his next at bat, hits a solo shot. So we've gone from 5-0 up with just one more out needed. So all of a sudden, it's 5-4. Still with 2 outs.
Crazy.
So it was a crazy comeback. The Risers nearly did it. Jackson was able to close the game out. Obviously, as we're talking about how we won this tournament, he was able to get Jerry out with the last out of the game, and. It was real close to being a real close gut wrencher there. I mean, it was just that last inning was real scary. I mentioned it even after the game, and you kind of hear it in the video. There's like a video, like a side shot of us. You can be saying like how much you guys just gave me a heart attack and things like that. It was just it was a wild finish, but. We do end up coming out on top. We end up winning the final 5-4, and what ended up being a great day. And we end up going 5-0 on the day. So I guess everyone kept joking afterwards. It's like, I guess we need Steve to come out more often because I show up once and all of a sudden we win out there. I don't know what happens, but
it's the Steven effect. It's the Steven effect. Well, it's like the opposite of a disease. It's uplifting.
it was nice to be able to come out there with a victory, and obviously we get a cash prize for that one as well. So that was really nice. Overall, it was a really fun day. I do kind of want to get your perspective, like kind of following along with it. Kind of just seeing what it was like from the non-playing there side of things. Just you guys following along and eventually seeing that we won. What was you guys' kind of takeover, or like especially yours, since obviously you're you.
Well, I was excited. Like I called you guys after you guys won. I was like, you guys are freaking insane. Like I was calling you guys at a Stater Brothers, getting like I think I was grabbing a soda or something. I just was like, you guys are insane. Like you guys are nuts. Like you guys literally did it. Like it's just like it. I was excited for you guys. I was proud of you guys as we were practicing in the beginning of the year, getting ready for these tournaments and just trying to get reps and trying to get like ready for these. And I know you guys have put in a lot of work. You, Sawyer, Dustin, Jackson, have put a lot of work in, and so I was proud of you guys. Like I was excited for you guys because I know this is just the beginning. So I know that's like kind of the fun part about this tournament for you guys, like as a perspective of a fan, was that I know this is just the beginning for Socal of the Reign of Terror, or their wiffle ball. So I love watching Socal. One of my favorite parts about actually that I get to be friends with you guys is that first of all you guys have fun. Like the first thing you guys do is have fun, and then what makes it so great is that you guys win as part of that as number two. So you guys are really good at having fun playing wiffle ball and then winning as the second one. So it's just always fun to be around you guys and watch you guys play. So I enjoy it very, very much as a fan.
That's good to hear. We got a whole bunch of congratulations and things like that from a number of different people, even from some of the likes of like you get the Kyle Schultz's saying congratulations. You get all that stuff. So it was
what the heck? Did he actually?
It was fun. It was fun to hear. He might have texted Jackson afterwards. So.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it was fun. I mean, that's also cool for MLW. I think you have, especially Jackson and Sawyer, who first got known through MLW. Now going out to win this tournament is kind of you kind of see. I mean, you have a guy like Jordan Robles who has been playing this style for a long time and then came into MLW is one thing, but to have guys from known for MLW come out and be able to win this, I think is especially cool for them as well. I know they didn't end up posting anything about that, but I heard from a couple people in there that there was that they were happy that was able to happen, happy for the boys and happy for the squad. I think Jimmy said something. I think there were a number of people that said some stuff about some congratulations things to myself, just both inside and obviously a lot outside. So that was cool to hear.
That was really cool. No, yeah, it was awesome. You had a lot of people congratulating you guys from California to all the way out there. We had a lot of support.
Yeah, it was.
Everyone loves SoCal. SoCal's the people's team. Yeah, they are the young guns.
Well, maybe not everybody, but we're not going to get into that. But
hey, you can't. Everyone can't. You can't. Hey, everyone can't love you, but everyone can notice you.
Yeah, there are a whole bunch of other stories about to go out there as well. I mean, anywhere from the Chris Sarnowski bets board during the final. That was hilarious just to follow along with. He actually had some people like doing live betting on like what would happen during the final. The Chase Oliver train story, which I'm just gonna leave right there.
The Chase Oliver train story is so funny.
Might have been the funniest thing said of the day. Or the Ben Doolan Stompers game. There was just funny comments, like nothing mean. It would be one of those where it was like, or Bryce Clark, who's the captain of the Stompers, who was pitching. He would get the guy out. He got a guy in a tough situation in the fifth, and yelled out, "It's like, let's go, give me a run." And then Ben Doolan right away goes, "Yeah, let's do that, but do it for the other inning." It's like just funny stuff like that. It's like just in the moment, it's just hilarious. But yeah, it was a good time out there. We were glad to come away with the win, and It was also cool because the that happened on the 24th, and then the 25th, I put the video up for the UIFs announcements, which we haven't even talked about like us actually seeing the UF video. We just had the little preview of us like seeing it and stuff. So just give me a quick little thoughts of how you think the video turned out and things like that.
Oh, it was awesome. I got a preview before it got posted, so it was awesome. Dude, Justin's so good. And he was just so creative on making that video. And so I just I'm excited because I plan on going to this UIF, so I'm excited to go out there. Sadly not playing with you guys, but I'm happy to be going out with you guys. Like it's gonna be awesome. Like I wasn't on the hype train for SoCal to possibly win UIFs, but now I'm hopping on the train that SoCal might be the ones to make it to the finals and maybe changing some history.
Yeah, I mean that's a long ways away. We got to try to figure it. We got I
Your
don't want to go
favorite
ahead of
phrase is
anything.
"that's a long ways away." You're dude. Okay, guys on the
Well,
podcast, whoever's listening to this,
it's also we'll see.
Stevens, Stevens' favorite phrase is "we'll see" or "that's a long ways away." Anything. It
It's a
could be
long ways
like a
away. I don't
month
want
or
to think
two
about
away.
that.
Exactly. He says it all the time. Hey, Steven, like, hey, what? Like, because people will come up to Steven and go, hey, what do you think about this team like 4 months away? And Steven goes, it's a long ways away. We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to worry about that.
Things change as we showed with just like for
No,
example
I
the
agree.
2023 Winter Classic. Things can change within the last month or a month and a half. So
No, I just think that phrase is just so funny because I hear you say that a good amount, which it's good. He's not wrong when he brings up that phrase. He doesn't overuse it. It's more of the funny things about because I think wiffle ball. A lot of people talk so far ahead, and they get so far ahead of planning, and so it's kind of nice to just kind of like not talk that far ahead
yeah,
because some people like talk.
look, certain stuff you need to at times, and then certain stuff it's like what are we doing? It's like let's just relax a little bit here. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean I'm looking forward to this US group. That was obviously a very sick video. I was very happy when I saw because being the first being the first one to see it from Justin and things like that. So that was cool. I mean, we wrote him in MAW, and then we now have another guy. Our fifth is going to be our ace is a guy who's thrown like 103, 104 in the past. So we'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to it, and be another lefty and be another bat to possibly add in there as well. So we're all of us hit relatively well out there. I think I had like 8 hits on that day. I think Jackson had like he must have like somewhere between 5 and 7 hits. Sawyer had like 4 to 6 hits, and Dustin only had the 2 hits. But like I said, those were both huge hits, and he was working his way on base and had hits in the first game, which is kind of like I'm not really counting those, but it is what it is. But I'm not really counting those for anybody. Just to be clear.
Dustin gets his. Dustin gets his.
He finds his way on base. That's the main thing. But enough of that. We're obviously glad that happened, and I don't know if we'll be out to another MAW event, but if we're not, it was a great way to end it for this calendar year. I'm sure we'll go to more in the future. I just don't know about 2025 with all the travel and stuff that. I mean, it ain't cheap to get out there and all the stuff Dustin's doing and Sawyer and Jackson and myself. It's like we'll see if it's a possibility. But next topic, one that happened a week after that Pittsburgh tournament, happened right here in Fullerton, California, with the Socal Summer Classic. It was a fast pitch tournament. It was going to be a winter classic, but back in 2024. But that ended up not being able to happen due to scheduling conflicts and other things like that. So at the end of the day, we made this happen in the summer. This happened on May 31st. We were able to have a 7-team tournament out there, not 17, 7-team, which we had the likes of Socal participated. We had the Cajuns come out from Vegas. We had the Las Vegas Wifflers come out from Vegas, as it gives in the name. You had the Llamas make a team, which ended up calling themselves Without Warning, with the likes of like Vinny and Joaquin. You had the Outlaws make a team, And we had a newer group that we didn't really know, but saw some talent in there, and then also had the Spitfires as a team, which involved the like the guys like Tommy and things like that. So we were able to have 7 teams out there for this tournament. The way we made this work, and it ended up making this a 4 game pool play. Where each team plays 4 games, and then the top 5 make it into the playoffs. And overall, it was an interesting day. It was an interesting pool play game. A couple moments to highlight. I think our game was very much. We played each other in the second game of the day. I think that was one to highlight, in which it was a pretty good game, especially for a pool play game. If you want to start talking about that, I'll let you get involved in the conversation here. So I apologize.
Yeah, it's just it was we were coming off a loss off of Vegas. So Vegas always is a tough team to play. So I pitched against them and I struggled a little bit. We couldn't really get the bats going against Steve Trips. But we played against you guys. Game 2, fantastic game. James Lee came out to throw, which James Lee hasn't thrown a fast pitch game since the Winter Classic of 2023, and he was throwing gas. Like, he was throwing hard. And so what we were able to, I think it was it the second inning? I think Braden got a double, and then Brian hit a single to score in Braden. And then for 4 innings, Rex was shutting you guys down. He would get like the bases loaded, but then for some reason with the bases loaded, he just found a way to get out of it. And then, but in the last inning, there's a man out there that every time when the clutch calls his name,
who's that man?
He answers. Steven frickin' Hayden. Gosh dang it. That was so mad. Dude, I was so mad. Dude, I was in the outfit and I was just like this. I was like, oh, because like, I don't think not even us really expected to beat you guys. We kind of thought like, we kind of thought like your game was going to be like a good one for Rex to throw just to get his right arm going. But like, he like was dealing really well, but nope. Steven saw that riser out of his hand, and I don't know who. I think what was it? Did Sawyer get walked? I don't know who got walked or who got a hit, but runner on. I think it was runner on first, right? And then, boom, game over. And once.
Yeah, I'll fill in the gaps a little bit here. So actually, we were gonna have the same for the Socal team. It was me, Dustin, Sawyer, and James Lee, which he replaced. Jackson Pearson, as he was unable. We were going to have the same team that just won the Pittsburgh tournament come out to play here in California. However, Jackson was not able to come, so I found a replacement. Can't get much of a better replacement than James Lee to come play for you. So, although there was some controversy with that, which we're not gonna focus on. But we had James Lee pitch that game. Second, he threw. I think had a 1-2-3 first inning. Second inning, Braden had a double to the right side. And then James tried an 0-2 super curve. Brian was able to stay on it, hit it just over the. We were playing all infield, and he put it just over the infielders to make it a 1-0 game. Rex was throwing good. I think we got at least 2 base runners on in each inning for the first 3 innings, but we just could not bring the run across. But James Lee kept working it. We kept shutting it down. We ended up SoCal is down 1-0 as we head to the 4th inning. Dustin leads off the inning with a walk, and then on a 1-1 count, I take a riser to right field and end up hitting the walk-off 2-run homer. End up winning the game for us 2-1. So that's what happened in our game. There were a whole bunch of other interesting games as well, but that was kind of, especially with both of us being 100. We're going to talk about it, but yeah.
I don't know. It's just not. It's for us. It was just like we played it. We lost our first 2 against you guys. Then we played the Cajuns and we won. We actually ended up mercing the Cajuns, which was kind of we didn't know what was going to happen, but they also didn't throw their arms. They kind of were saving arms. They threw John Dalby to start with. He wasn't throwing well, and then they threw out Stein, which then we got a hold of Stein, and then. We actually ended up mercing him like 13-0 or something, or 11-0. I actually ended up pitching that game, and I threw a shutout. So that was kind of cool to. They're a good team. Like, that was not a team. They're a good team. Like, I have been working on pitching, but I felt really good against them, and I was able to find the zone really well, and had really good defense behind me. I had a couple. I think I had a double play in there. Some really good plays by my defense. So it was very awesome. But and then we played the kids that were new, and we mercied them. Also, we mercied them. So that was pretty much our pool play.
Yeah. There are a number of good games going on there. With 7 teams, you're going to end up getting some really good matchups and things like that. And end up getting down to 5 teams. Actually, had a little bit of surprise team ended up as the number 1 seed. Had that Llamas slash Without Warning team was the end up being the number 1 seed. We played them in a 3-0 versus 3-0 game to try to see who would get the 1 seed. They ended up beating us, and so they finished with the 1 seed, and then so Socal and Vegas ended up being 3-1. Vegas ended up as a 2 seed. Socal was a 3 seed. And then based off the results, the Spitfires and the Cajuns were both the 4 and 5 seed respectively. Given the results, both of those teams being 2-2. So things were set up. The 1 seed was going to play the winner of the 4 and 5, and then the 2 and 3 seed were automatically in the semifinals, with the winner of that game going to the finals. So that's how we had things set up there for the tournament. We also had the kids team, and had the Outlaws, who both of those teams went 0-4 on the day. Obviously, we thank every team for coming out to play and things like that, but ended up being those 5 teams, which I think were kind of the 5 expected teams to make it into the final, the final bracket and things like that. So we'll start over with the 1 seed side of the brackets. First had to work with the 4-5 seed going on. You had the Spitfires versus the Cajuns going on. You had Rex Jarcy versus Randy Dalby on the mound, and what ended up being a very high scoring game. Cajuns were the lower seed, but they took this one, I believe, 9-6, with a lot of early offense from the Cajuns, and then Spitfires worked to bounce back and got some offense of their own, but was not enough to overcome basically a fresh Randy Dalby. So I don't know if you want to talk about that game a little bit more. Obviously, you were playing in it, so just give us some of the insights and things like that.
No, it was tough. I have a hard time talking about this game because it was tough. It was just a heartbreaker. It's just not that like I expected to win. I just didn't expect to lose 9-6. I thought it was going to be kind of like our game earlier, where it was going to be like 2-1. But Rex was just struggling a little bit. Rex is very new to this, to like fast pitch, and so he was throwing left-handed, which he hasn't thrown left-handed since the fall BLW tournament we played when he came out. So it was a good tournament though. Everyone got a good hit. Braden had really good at bats. EJ was our 5th, and he hit 2 bombs that game off of Randy, which was awesome. I had a double and a homer. Like in the same inning, EJ had 2 bombs. I had a homer and a double. So that was just really awesome to put up some runs like that. Brian had like a triple towards the end of the game. But excuse me, it was good. But I was just very disappointed. I think I was really hoping to. I don't know. I've lost in the quarterfinals a lot. I think you kind of know this. Like I lost in the quarterfinals a lot. Like it's just something I end up doing, or I lose in the semis. So it was kind of disappointing to do it again. But it's also what can you say? You're playing against some of the best players in the world. So it was no Joe Schmo. It was no Joe Schmo team we lost to. We lost to some of the best players that do well in the biggest of tournaments. So, but it was fun. I had a really fun catch 2 off of Lede, which was one I'll never forget. My home run robbery that I caught with one hand. Shut up, dude! Oh my gosh, yeah. My debatable, controversial home run robbery that I caught with my left hand. So it was really fun. But that's all I got for that game. So it was a good game. It was a fun one, but it was a sad loss. But we got to learn a lot out of it. Rex got a lot of attention from guys, and he got to learn a lot of things, and now he has a lot of connects now for more future tournaments possibly, or future things. So that was really exciting to see. And Braden got a lot of hits that tournament, and also got a lot of recognition, because usually Braden's on as a pitcher and his arm was hurt. So to see him kind of flourish as a hitter kind of showed like that he can do both, and he could, if he wanted to, he could do a lot more in wiffle ball. And so it was just really cool to see like some guys shine out there. Brian with a couple hits against some good pitchers. So it was just really good to see some shining moments. EJ getting back into it, hitting 2 bombs in that playoff game was awesome to see, because it was really fun to see EJ back out there. So yeah.
I was This was just a super long game as well. This game just seemed like it went on forever, as well. Just just in general. Yeah, unfortunate ending for you guys. But the Cajuns do move on. They moved on to play a team. They actually played in their first game of the day and lost 5-0 in the without warning team, who were just kind of sitting around waiting. You had Randy returned to the mound. You had Jackson Plum on the mound for them. It was a 1-0 game. I can't remember who hit the home run for the Cajuns, but they got off to an early lead. And then in the fourth inning, bottom of the fourth inning, I believe PJ hit a solo home run to make it 1-1. And then it was either the fifth or the sixth inning where James Stein stepped up with bases loaded, with 2 outs. Line drive in the outfield. Trent Lyle makes a diving effort, but not able to come up with the catch. Ends up getting the Cajuns up, and Randy was able to shut things down in the bottom of the inning to give the Cajuns a win and send them on to the finals. So the 5 seed makes it to the finals there from that left side of the bracket, and a very good game. It kind of felt like it all kind of mixed together, because as we'll talk about the Vegas SoCal game in a bit, but we started off the Vegas SoCal game like 5 minutes before the Spitfires Cajuns game, and then it felt like 2 hours after we stopped playing, finally we were able to play the final. So it was a long wait, but that semifinal game there was a very interesting. It was a pretty good game as well. But the Cajuns just had the experience, and they had Randy Dalby there just throwing through his best game of the day there. Was able to come away with a close victory there to send the Cajuns to the finals and guarantee themselves some prize pool money. So
yeah.
we move.
I think
next. Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Was the homer was it Nick Martinez? I think he might have been the one that hit the homer off of Jackson. Because Nick was on fire. Like, Nick hit the homer off of Rex, and then I think he might have off. It was either him or Lede, because like they were the two that were like getting bat to ball really well, like for power. I know John had a couple good hits. Randy had a couple liners in there, but I know like Lede and Nick Martinez were both having trouble. But dude, we got to talk about your game now. We got to talk about the game.
We're getting there. We're getting there little by little. We're getting to one side of the bracket. We'll get to the other side of the bracket. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
It's okay. We're just right about there anyways. So, but yeah, Cajuns do advance to the final. I can't remember whether it was Nick Martinez or Andrew Lede that hit the home run, but we get to the other side. We get to a side that automatically was the semifinals game. Matchup we've seen a number of times over the past couple of years, with the Las Vegas Wifflers taking on Socal Wiffle Ball, and this one, like I said, we played this one right away just to have whoever was winning just be able to wait around and wait for the final and things like that. You had Steve's trip to start on the mound for Vegas, and we had Sawyer Bean starting on the mound. My arm was. From Pittsburgh was just not feeling good, and I did not feel very good throwing versus throwing in our 3-0 game. So Sawyer was going. Sawyer was going to be our way, and if we desperately needed, I was going to go. Which I did forget to mention this in the Pittsburgh part. I said I was going to, like warming up for the final, and Jackson Pearson was getting some cramps. For the MLW final. So it was a question mark whether he was actually going to pitch the final or not. So that's when I mentioned Dustin was warming up just as like a last situation possibility. Like he was out there warming up just in case for that game. So
the final, which is crazy. Wow.
We still had Sawyer on 5 innings, and I still could have thrown, but Dustin wanted to try to just make sure his arm was good.
Makes sense. You got to save your ace for the right moment. And I think that would have been almost the right moment to throw Dustin in, because he is the ace of SoCal. He has given the least amount of runs in all of his innings pitched. So just saying, Dustin Sags, ace of SoCal, ace, ace, ace. That's all I'm gonna say. Got to save the ace for the right time.
How do I mute Tommy on this?
I love you, Dustin.
So yeah, so we had Steve versus Sawyer on the mound to start things off here. Both of them off to a good start in the first inning. I think maybe had one base runner allowed for each side. So relatively clean first inning for both guys. But one guy that was seeing the ball well early on, especially versus Steve, was Sawyer Bean. Led off the second inning with a double. I think Dustin worked a walk. I popped up. James worked a walk. James got out, and then Sawyer worked a walk. I don't remember. We eventually had bases low. We had runners on first and second, one out in the second inning, and that's when they decide to bring in Jordan Bonet in, who hadn't thrown yet. They bring him in with one out, with 2 outs, with 2 on in the second inning. Walks Dustin on 4 pitches. So now we got bases loaded, 2 outs for me. I get the count to 3-1, and then Jordan throws 2 strikes. I swing and miss at the last one. Is able to get out of the inning with no runs allowed. Sawyer goes back on the mound. He keeps throwing the ball well. He's mixing up the pitches well versus Vegas. Get to the bottom of the third. Sawyer let off with a double as well off the Jordan Bonet, and then James was quickly down 0-2, and then out of nowhere. He gets an 0-2 slider. He hits. It looked like a pop up at first, but the wind took it. He hit it just well enough. Ended up going out to right field for a 2-run homer. So James Lee in his first at bat off of Jordan Bonet ever, by the way. It's a 2-run homer, almost literally Luke Richter-esque, if you know from the MAW opening day. Luke basically did the same thing, except Luke's was hit a little bit better. But that's not the point.
Still, that's so crazy though. He's literally James's 17, and he did that. So crazy.
Yeah. So he gave us an early 2-0 lead. That got us going. That kept Sawyer going well on the mound. End up throwing a scoreless third and a scoreless fourth to keep us with a 2-0 lead as we head to the top of the fifth. Jordan Bonet is still throwing bullets at this point. He's still just throwing extremely hard. I get a chance to hit with a runner on and 1 out, and I eventually just said, you know what, I need to change something. Steve Trippis and Jordan Bonet are probably the 2 hardest pitchers that I have to face, just because the way they mix up stuff, and because I think they're a lot of the stuff is primarily like slider heavy. So I said, I'm gonna back up from the plate. I'm gonna sit this slider, and if I get it, I'm gonna swing at it. The first 2 pitches, of course, were not a slider. I fouled one of them off and then took one of them, and then the 1-1 count, I got my slider, and I need to find some good video of this because I'll have Instagram Live. But let's just say I did not miss it. It's very hard to get hit off Jordan in general. However, I think this might have been the farthest home run I've ever hit in my football career. This thing, I didn't even look at it, so I don't even know how far it actually went. Because I hit the ball and I just turned around. I was just looking at the guys, because we just hit a 2-run homer, which kind of felt like the dagger to give us a 4-0 lead there in the top of the fifth. But it was overall a very big moment, very cool moment for us. I was hitting the ball well during the day, and I was just missing the ball a lot during that Vegas game, but I was finally able to get one there. I guess like 2 for 20 versus Jordan Bonet is still 2. I guess I don't know. Because I just struggled to hit off of him. It's a hit, man. That Arizona BOW tournament, I had to hit off him to lead off my first at bat. And then this one's my only other hit off of him. This homer, so ends up making it 4-0. Sawyer's able to shut it down. We end up beating Vegas 4-0 and advance ourselves to the final as well. Where eventually we later found out it was going to be us versus the Cajuns there in the final. So overall, a very interesting game. It's very much the opposite of what happens because Vegas has really owned us, and I think this is the first time in like 7 or 8 tries that we've actually been able to beat the Las Vegas Wiffles. So it was cool for us. It was big for us, obviously, for the confidence and stuff coming off the the Pittsburgh Mid Atlantic Wiffle win, and then you get to this where you're able to beat a team that just almost had the full makings of their team that was finished top 4 in the world last year, and team we just lost 3-2 last year in the one of the BLW finals. So overall, it was a fun game. It was a real good game for us. We moved on to the final.
Awesome. No, it was awesome. That homer you hit was a nuke. I just remember, like, I think I was playing outfield, and I just remember, like, I was watching your at bat, and I see boom, and I was like, oh wow, that ball's going, and you hit like all the way to where Dustin's like park was trucked, or parked. Truck was parked. Park was trucked. Truck was parked, and it was just awesome. It was just awesome. Like that ball was crushed. That was a freaking nuke.
Yeah, it was a decent hit, but we get to the final. It's us versus the Cajuns. Sawyer takes the mound again. I mean, he's at this point he's had an hour and a half break to get his arm ready. Might as well just keep him going. Randy's going into his third game here, and I mean you could kind of feel the effects of Randy being in his third game there. I think he was saying it during the game. He just
fourth game.
Yeah.
In
one game he was throwing yard speed, so it's kind of hard to count that one.
I know, but still, innings are innings. The amount of he throws is insane.
Oh, yeah, he's an Ironman winner for a reason at UWIFs. He's thrown 20 plus innings multiple times out there. It's ridiculous, but we end up Sawyer throws Sawyer had a little bit of a rough first inning, but we were able to get out of it, able to get out of a bases loaded situation with no runs allowed. Then on the bottom of the first, we were able to work some base runners on. We got 2 outs, bases loaded, and I was able to take advantage, get a 2 RBI single. And from there we kept going on. I believe Randy had a home run, make it 2-1, and then the second inning, everyone except for me hit a homer on the team in that second inning, which I got my homer versus Vegas, so I'm all right.
Satisfied. He's all satisfied. I'm all good.
Yeah, but James hit a homer, Dustin hit a homer, Sawyer hit a homer. We kept things rolling from there. The Cajuns were able to put a couple more runs. But the final score ended up being 8-3 in this game, with Socal coming out on top. And for the second Saturday in a row, hey, we're able to win a tournament this time. A lot more local for us. This one being obviously in Fullerton, which is right there for Dustin and things like that. So didn't have to go to Pittsburgh to win this one. Able to come away with a little cash prize and in a day that at one point didn't look too good for our chances. End up being a SoCal victory for us, which we were all pretty happy with.
That was awesome.
Things
was a good day.
Things worked out pretty well with James stepping in for Jackson. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good tournament. You get your little issues here and there with certain stuff. For example, one of the fields, the zone was a lot higher because there was a deep embedded rock. It's like, what can you do? You just have to kind of play with it. And that field wasn't used for playoffs or anything like that, but that is what it is. But overall, we appreciate all the teams that came out here to play. We'll look to try to have some more of this stuff in the future, and things like that. So just keep an eye out on the SoCal Wiffle Instagram. I might know a guy that will promote that stuff when it comes out.
Oh, I know a guy too. He's pretty good.
I don't know if you know that guy.
Oh, my bad. I think I do know that guy. But no, it was a fun tournament. Dustin always throws a good tournament, so it was a lot of fun. It was good to see a tournament back out in SoCal. It's been a while, so hopefully have one sooner than later. But
yeah, we are looking to host it. There will be a SoCal tournament on the 26th of July, so keep your calendars marked.
Of course, the Saturday that Tommy can't come out to it is that's when we run a tournament. Okay.
That sounds like a Tommy issue.
It is a Tommy issue. I'm going to be going doing cooler things, though, so it's not really a Tommy issue, but it is a Tommy issue.
Oh, is it cooler now? So now we're not cool.
I'm going to a summer. I'm going to a summer camp in Fresno to go learn and love Jesus with a bunch of other people who learn and love Jesus. So I think it is cooler, in my
Or
opinion.
playing wiffle ball.
Or I think I'm actually going to a wedding that day too. Like that day, like we're driving, so a bunch of us are driving at 5 a.m. to get back in time for the wedding. So we're driving 5 a.m. a 6 hour drive. So pretty much like if we were going to Arizona, driving back, and then getting ready for the wedding. Like so, it's like a really, really, really long day for us. But yeah, besides the point. Steven, is it time for the next topic?
Yeah, I'm about to transition. I'm about to transition in there. It's okay. Ish okay. But yeah, that's enough for the Socal tournament. Appreciate everyone coming out and things like that. But then speaking of Steven winning, I mean we talked about enough events. We don't need to talk about any more. Or I mean I guess we could since it ended up happening. Um, the summer OC Wiffle season, which we talked about a little bit on the last podcast, just like a preview of the team. At that point, we were only a few weeks into the season, with the kind of group we built with myself, Tommy, James Lee, Jordan Dressler, and Ethan Lee. Just kind of looking at the expectations and things like that, and just looking to have fun and things like that. So, since that point, the look at Division One changed a lot. Um, when we last talked about this on the podcast, there were 3 teams in Division One, and end up going down to 2 as the Beach City Bombers got disbanded, and Tyler Moore ended up joining the Trash Pandas, just to make things a little more interesting. So, end up being 2 teams. So we all just agree let's just do a 5-game series for the World Series where we play against each other, and then we go from there and things like that. So that just wrapped up a couple days ago, as I mentioned earlier. Season progressed on as it did. We played each other sometimes. We split some of the games, even tied one of the games. But pretty sure other teams in there had some fun on a Tuesday night as usual, or actually even this past Friday night. Jordan Drescher and I ran it as a duo, which is very interesting and very fun. Playing a game that normally involves 5 with just 2 is very interesting, but able to get it done. But we get to this World Series Monday nights. We go back out to Huntington Beach Sports Park to finish off this year on Monday and Tuesday. End up having a very eventful series, which we'll start with the first day because obviously why wouldn't you start with the first day? First day, they had their full 5 there eventually of Tyler Moore, Blake Fitzgerald, Andrew Swanson, Ryan Swanson, and then actually Michael Haskup showed up in the second game. But we had our normal 5 except no Tommy, so we actually had 4 as Tommy went out to Arizona for stuff we could talk about later, as it ended up being something like not super necessary for him as it turned out to be. But first game, Trash Pandas took control right away, scored runs early, scored runs often. We got 1 run at the top of the first off of a RBI single for me. Other than that, we didn't do a whole lot. They were hitting Jordan. They got some runs off of James. They end up winning. Trash Pandas end up winning game 1 8-1, and it was just one of those where it's like, okay, that's a tone setter for this series. We're gonna have to change something and change it quick to try to turn things around. And that's exactly what we did. We had in game 2. I started on the mound, and after not throwing in the first game, I was feeling good through a few scoreless innings. Hit a solo home run. James got the bat going. Jordan got the bat going. Ethan Lee was there, but we got the number of times the ball hit his bat when he didn't swing was unreal. That's about it. But I know it wasn't his best hitting day, but it is what it is. However, me and James shut it down on the mound after getting enough runs. Who end up winning game 2 7-1. So very much a quick turnaround there, from losing 8-1 to getting up to winning 7-1. So that evens the series at 1. So we've got the time, we've got the area. It's like we'll just play game 3. I mean, I also felt like we had the momentum at that point, especially winning 7-1. I was throwing good. I was feeling good despite the fact Then in Socal, I just pitched 11 innings the day before. It's just one of those. We're just gonna let it roll. We're just gonna let it eat, and let it eat. We did. Although it didn't start well for us. I started game 3, and right away, they found a way around me. They found some hits. Whether it be it's just one of those. The hits fell. It didn't always look pretty, but they found a way on. Ended up scoring 3 runs in the top of the first inning. And then after that, we kind of had to try to build it back little by little. James and Jordan both had a solo home run in a couple different innings, so it was 3-2 for a long time. As James was throwing well, I was throwing well, Blake was throwing well, Tyler was throwing well. But we get to the bottom of the top of the 5th inning, I should say, with two outs, 2-1, 2-2 count. Jordan drills one to center field. Ryan Swanson slips a little bit, but who knows how much whether he's going to have a chance at it. Jordan ends up hitting a 3-run homer. James shuts it down in the 5th, and I close it out in the 6th to give us a 5-3 victory there in Game 3 and give us a 2-1 lead on the series. With the second day coming up the next day, so there's a little bit of rundown there. I know you were not there, so I'll give you a little bit of a rundown there. The Cliff Notes version, as one would say, for you. For those who know, some of these kids these days are too young to know Cliff Notes.
Wow. They just don't know how to do it right. And then what about the next day, Steven? What about the next day?
We're getting there. I had to give you a little bit of the rundown since you were not able to make it on that.
I know. I wish I could have seen Ethan Lee's getting the ball hit his bat, because I know how funny that was.
It must have happened like 3 or 4 different times where he was choked up on the bat, he didn't move his hands, and the ball would hit off the knob. It must have happened 3 or 4 times, like throughout the series. I think one time he even didn't put his bat down and hit the barrel of his bat like behind him. I think it happened like once or twice. So and he was also getting some tough pitches thrown at him. He had a lot of. It was one of those. He was getting the corner pitches thrown at him that just went off the corners. So it is what it is. We're able to get through it.
And usually Ethan's been seeing them all too. That's funny.
Yeah, he had a couple hits early on. I'll give him that. But we get to day 2, going on a different side of still the same park, but just on a different side, where side we played earlier, with a much different wind. Day 1 wind was blowing in. It was like from right field into the righty's batter's box, so ball was not flying. Though we get to this day, day 2. The ball was flying. It was basically going the opposite way, and right away. Obviously, our situation is we need one out of these 2 to win the series. Trash Pandas need them both to try to win this series. And the Trash Pandas came out like they wanted. They scored some runs early, took advantage of the wind and the situation. Which this time we had Tommy there, but no Ethan, so we were still short a guy. Overall, we were not able to get the runs across or get the bats really going until late, and by that point it was just too late. Trash Pandas were hitting James well at that point. They got a few runs off of me, and I think they might have got a couple runs off of Jordan in his inning in the 5th, or in the 6th inning, I should say. So, just a number of home runs for each team. I think James had a home run. I had a couple home runs in Game 4, but that game ended up being 15-5. So you're seeing a lot of swing back and forth in between these games. When the Trash Pandas win, it's been pretty dominant. We had one dominant win and then one pretty close game, which we needed to come back. So, of course, after all this playing this whole season, it comes down to one game, of course, because that's just how it would work.
It's the beauty of it. The beauty of it.
I said it right. I said it right then. I was like, of course we played this whole season. We've faced each other, dozens of times, and have faced each other in hundreds of at bats just to have one game. So just it's just the way it works. It's the way sports works. This one, yeah, Blake Fitzgerald and Tyler Moore were bouncing on off of each other pitching wise. For this game, Tyler started and I started on the mound here to try to because I feel like I had been pitching the best versus them. Uh, and despite the wind blowing out, things were pretty quiet there in the first couple innings. Both Tyler and I were on to start the game. First two innings both end up being scoreless. I think each of us had a 1-2-3 inning there as well, which with the wind being against us, it's not something you see super often. However, I do get the scoring started with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the third inning. I had a little solo shot, and then James backs it up after Jordan gets on base. James hits a solo 2-run shot, give us a 3-0 lead in the third, which I then almost nearly coughed up the whole thing by giving up 2 runs in the third inning. So we're currently up 3-2 in the going into the fourth inning. Blake comes into the game. He's throwing well. Throws up a 0 versus us. James comes in the fourth and has one of the weirder innings that I've seen in terms of just the ball just traveling or just the ball being hit in some really weird ways. You had some double hits on a super drop that was like inside about to hit a guy. You had and another double hit that ended up sneaking out for a home run. In total, the Trash Panda scored 6 runs in the bottom of the fourth, which gave them an 8-3 lead and made things not really look good for us at that point. Blake shut us out in the fifth inning. I went back out there for the bottom of the fifth. I had to use my last inning of pitching out there, and I even had to work out a bases loaded one out situation, but was able to give us actually what ended up being enough of a shot, as we'll talk about. So we are down 8-3, 6th inning. You had Tyler join this team. It's like, things were not looking good at the moment. However, the inning does start off good. James Lee leads it off with a solo home run, so it's 8-4. Tommy steps up to the plate. I can't remember if it was a ball in play or it was a strikeout, but he did get out.
Ground out. Rollover. Ground out to Andrew.
I then step up to the plate. I get out. I believe I grounded out to Tyler. So we're at 2 outs. We're down 8-4 at this point. And at this point, like Jordan's at the point, he swung out of his shoes on the first one. He actually fell over because he swung so hard, just because he was. It almost felt like at a time it's like, is this over? Is this going to end right here? And it felt like it was really close to that when we got to 2 strikes on Jordan. However, that was not the situation. Jordan Drescher on an 0-2 count hits a solo home run, and we said, okay, you know what? It's not over yet. You never know. James Lee steps up, hits one to left field off of Ryan Swanson's hands, unable to make the catch. Now we're chasing 3. It's like, oh wow, you never know. Tommy steps up. I think either first or second pitch and drills one out to right center field. So it's at this point it's an 8-7 game. We've just hit 3 solo shots in a row after actually James was down to his last strike as well in his at bat. So we had two situations where we were down to our last strike, and we were able to find runs. So I step up to the plate. I've currently got a 3-2 count on me. I get a pitch. I get a riser. I hit it. I hit it pretty well, but I do hit it right at Tyler, or slightly to his right, I guess. A ball hits off of his hand, ends up going behind him. But when the ball hit his hand, I actually thought it was going to be stopped. It was going to go straight in the air. He was going to catch it. I thought that was going to end the game. It was just going to be like we were right there. We were so close, but the ball is able to get by him for a single.
You hit it really hard. It was smoked.
It's kind of the story at times where I would hit it really hard, but just at people, and it would just be outs. Which I was hitting the ball really well the whole series, but we'll talk about that later. But so, at this point, we were down 8-4. It's now 8-7 with the runner on first, 2 outs, and Jordan Dreschler is back up to the plate, who started this whole thing. First
Gosh,
pitch,
damn it.
little bit of controversy whether we swung or not, which we ended up figuring out. Second pitch, he gets his pitch and he mashes it to right center field, a 2-run homer, 9-8 lead.
Crushed.
And at that point, we're like, I don't even know what to think. Like we're going crazy. Like we had 3 different instances where we were down to our last strike where we could lose, and all of a sudden we're actually first off, I had the score wrong. I thought they were up by 6, so I thought we just tied the game, and then all of a sudden someone told me to look at the board. I was like, oh no way, we're up 1 right now. Like I genuinely thought Jordan's home run tied the game. That's all I thought it did. So so from being down 5, we're now up 1. James worked a walk and then Tommy popped up, I believe. So now all of a sudden we're in the bottom of the 6th. I'm out of innings, so at this point it's James Lee. It's your time to do it. Like this is, I know he pitched a lot better in day 1 than day 2. But I was like, you got 1 inning. We need 1 inning right now. We need a shutout right here. If you got that in you, let's do it right now. There's no better time to do it. And that he started to do really well, because with the win situation, the super curve was not really working for James at first. However, at that point at night, it was about near 9:00. The wind had died down. And I told James, it's like, if they can't hit the super curve, just keep spamming it. Just keep abusing the mechanics, and I think he made it through 1 pitch that wasn't a super curve the whole inning. Was able to get the first out. Got the first 2 guys out with just super curves, and then so we got 2 outs, nobody on. Tyler Moore hits a single on the first pitch. It's like, okay, all right, we got to be careful here. Because they've got Andrew Swanson on the board, who up to the plate with runner on first and 2 outs, and he's got a chance to win it. As James gets quickly ahead, 0-2, throws a ball, and then on the 1-2 pitch, now their backs are against the wall. It's like, we just saw with us what just happened. Who knows what can happen with them? And on the 1-2 pitch, Andrew actually gets a piece of one. He slaps it over to right field. Jordan was running back. Had the ball dropped, it would have been a home run. We would have lost the game on a walk-off home run. However, Jordan is able to secure it. And by hook or by crook, I don't know how, we end up coming away with this, if our camera will focus. Which it doesn't seem, well, because there it is, right there. We end up coming, come on, there we go. We end up coming away with this. For the second time in 2025, the LA Wiffles of OC managed to come away with the Division I World Series trophy. Which I do not know how. I still am trying to figure out how that would happen exactly.
That's crazy.
The only I can say is it happened. We battled, and it was regardless of the result, I think it was going to be a great series either way. I know the Trash Pandas guys were frustrated with it. I mean, as obviously, I mean, I think had it happened to us, I think we would have been really frustrated, obviously. But they were all very good sports about it, and we were talking for a while and just kind of reminiscing about the series and things like that. So it was quite an insane finish. I don't know how it happened. I'm not sure we deserved to have it happen, but it ended up happening, and we win Game 5 by a score of 9-8. Your thoughts?
Oh, it was fantastic. I wanted to win a World Series so bad. I told Steven before the season started, like, the reason why I wanted to come back was to win the World Series. And we had the team to do it, and it was fun. And, like, even though it would have been nice to kind of just sweep them or, like, win in Game 4 and just blow them out, it was that, like, made it more special, was that comeback with that group of people. And so it was so much fun. I was having a rough day at the plate more than usual, and to still, like, but like what made, even though like I was having a rough day, I still had so much fun because just getting to play wiffle ball with those guys, and even against the Trash Pandas, it was a lot of fun. Like it was a great day. God is good. I feel very, very blessed, very, very lucky by the grace of God that I got to go do that, and got to be part of that comeback and part of that game. So it was awesome. I had a blast.
Yeah, you were able to come with you were with the team for the first 2 seasons in 2024. We were not able to come up with a trophy then. In the spring season, we came up just a game short to the Trash Pandas. And you told me like you wanted to come back to try to win this one, and we were able to do it. We were able to find a way to get the job done. Like I said, still don't fully understand how, but or if we deserved it or not. But at the end of the day, we were able to come away with with our second title here. It's the second time we've gone back to back, not since the fall of 2023 and winter 2023, where we were able to go back to back. But you have had a lot of firsts, and you had a couple guys who had who have continued to build onto their OC wiffle ball legacy, you could say. Although even it's just the league for fun things like that. You had you win your first title. You had James Lee win his first title. Ethan Lee won his second title. He hadn't won with us since the spring of 2023. And then for me, that was in this league, that was number 5. But for Jordan, he moves up to 6.
For Jordan.
He did win one. He did win one of the. He's now won the last 3 World Series in a row, actually, because he won with the Beach City Bombers in the fall of 24. Actually, no, there was one in between. He didn't win in winter 24 with us, but he won the 3 previous, and then he won fall 24 with Beach, and now he's won the past 2 in a row with us. So. We keep moving up, and we keep having fun. Overall, this was this was a good season to be a part of. I was glad to kind of relinquish the pitching roles a little for a while, especially to James and Jordan. Let them roll. Just remind everyone of who they are and things like that. But I mean, playoff time. I did feel bad for Jordan. It's like he didn't pitch bad. I think he just was struggling to adjust with the wins and stuff, and maybe he should have pitched more in the last game because he actually had a good inning in game 4. But sometimes you just have to try to find a way.
He kind of hit I was gonna say he hit the 2 huge homers, so I don't think he really cared, to be honest.
Yeah, well, his bat was huge in this one, and sometimes you get that when you don't have to focus on the pitching as much, you can just focus on the bat and the defense and things like that. And both of those came in clutch.
Call. Yeah, I think that was a good call because Jordan's bat was so huge that last game, and he was just seeing it well the whole day. So I think not pitching allowed him to focus on that aspect and the defense, like his height, man. His height played a role in that in a couple home run robberies he had, especially that last one. So I think it went exactly the way it was supposed to go. So it made it. That's what made it sweeter.
Yeah. I mean, you had the switch up in the middle of the year where the Beach City disbanded, and Tyler ended up switching over to the Trash Pandas and things like that. So you just never know which way things are going to turn out. Like I said, it was 8-4 with 2 outs and 2 strikes and nobody on for us. So I still don't know how it happened. It's still one of the crazier endings to a game I've ever been a part of. Even if it was the other way, I'd say the same thing. And right away, Jordan and I were kind of talking about this is probably this might be the second coolest championship we've ever won. I mean, it's hard to beat that first one in the spring of 2023, just because we weren't really expected to win. We were a newly formed team in terms of a lot of new guys and things like that from the past, and that one just felt like a generational run, especially coming back from beating the plastic pitches down 1-0 and then shut them out in the next 2 games, and then had to go face PJ Gordon and Mitchell Downing and their team and take them down the World Series. It was just after they crushed us in the regular season, being able to sweep them was just special. Even that winter season, winter 2023, when we went undefeated and won the whole thing was very cool. But this one felt different. This one felt like possibly the second coolest one we've ever won. So that was I was cool to have it. It was a fun season overall. Might have to have a discussion to see which team would now be considered maybe the best OC football team of all time, because I have always thought going undefeated in the season is just something you might never see again, and so far we've never seen it again in terms of D1 level.
That's
When we were
pretty
at 15
pretty
and 0,
cool.
so both these
pretty
D1 teams
good.
this year were very good and could easily make an argument for that. So who knows? So it's always a nice hypothetical to think about, but somehow we were able to come away with this one's number 5 for me. If I can get the right spot for this camera to focus, it doesn't like this light behind me, so it is what it is. But
Really close to your face. Heck yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's better. It's not like in the blur.
Number
It's not
5.
like in that light behind me, but it is what it is. So
It is what it is.
that's enough of that. It was a good OC football season. Now we get a break because that was tiring. Let's talk some SoCal. We talked about SoCal in Pittsburgh. Now we can talk about some SoCal during the regular season, which we have not talked about in a while. Last time we talked about it, we finished slate 3, which we talked about us playing each other and things like that.
Dang, that means that we were 5-1-1 at the time, or 4-1-1 the last time we talked. Yeah, 4-1-1. Jeez.
Yes, you were. Yep. A lot has happened since then. A lot of action has gone on. We've had 3 different slates to be played, unless you're the Sharks and you only played in 1 slate, which. So. But one of them was a bye, so it is what it is. But yeah, a lot of action has continued on in the SoCal League. We just finished up slate 6. We have 1 more slate to go. So far, 2 teams have been eliminated from the playoffs. Those being the King Cobras, who currently sit at 2-12-1. I wonder who they got that tie against. And then we also have, and then we also have the Penguins, who just recently got swept by the Apes. They had a small chance to be able to make this work, playoff wise, but they were not able. They needed to go 6-0. And needed to start there, so they're not able to do it. They lost 3 games to the Apes, so they are out of the playoff hunt. However, with that, the Apes did secure themselves the first playoff spot of 2025. They currently sit at 12-3 and are 1 win away from clinching the 1 seed as a brand new team into the league, with a lot of new guys into the league guys we've seen around at tournaments and things like that. Jordan was part of my team when we won one of the tournaments last year. We saw the Beach Bombers in a final last year. They did not win the final, but they were in the final that one year. So Apes are in the playoffs. Yeah. The Panthers, despite losing 2 out of 3 to the Dolphins, find themselves locked into a playoff spot due to records and matchups and things like that. They actually finished their season. They have a bye this last week, so they're currently at 10-8. And the other team to clinch a playoff spot, which happened despite not winning a game this past slate, was the Sharks. Which I think.
Yeah, you guys tied to lost one.
We had maybe the series of the year versus the Llamas in terms of competitiveness and things like that. We end up having games 1 and 3 end up being a tie, just running out of time, things like that. And then we lost game 2, but just based off the possible results and things like that and what can happen, we are guaranteed a playoff spot, and we do have a chance at the 1 seed, which would mean we have to sweep the Apes. But 1 win will give us the 2 seed, so that is something we're going to try to look to wrap up this in about a week and a half. So that leaves a very interesting series for this slate of the year. And it just happens to work out that these 2 teams play each other. So we have 2 teams that are battling for 1 spot now. It most likely will be the 4 spot, although there is some possibility of the Dolphins being able to move up and clinch the 3 spots. And that is the Llamas Dolphins series, which is basically the main series that matters. You have the Penguins Cobras taking on each other, which those teams are both eliminated, doesn't matter too much. You have the Apes Sharks, which only really matters for the 1 seed. If the Apes win a game, the Sharks win a game. The third game won't really matter too much. Panthers are on a bye, and then you have the Dolphins and Llamas taking on each other. I want to get you. I mean, especially with you being a member of the Dolphins, you guys are coming off a comeback series win versus the Panthers, and I want you to try to give a little look at that series, and I can just take a little look at how much it means to you guys and what you kind of predict might happen here.
Well, it means a lot to us. We had a little bit of a rough go since the last time we talked on the podcast. Apes took the series against us 1-2. Tyler Moore threw really well, and then I missed the next series because I was out in Arizona playing my series, and also doing the All-Star game, and we ended up getting swept because we only had 2 people for most of the series, which was Vinny and Dean, and so that was rough for us to get swept to the Penguins, who are our big rivals. So that was not fun. And so we were in a really bad spot going up against the Panthers. We kind of needed to win the series, and we lost the first one. EJ hit a bomb to kind of take it away. It's like to take over the series. And then that second game, we got really good offense that second game. I came in to pitch for Rex because Rex is recovering from an injury, so Rex is trying to get back into it. So they threw me in. We won the game, I think 7-2. And then game 3, we were down 1-0. EJ hit a homer off of me. I started the game as well. EJ hit a homer off me, I think, in the second inning. And then that last inning, Brian hit a line drive for an out, but Brian got the bats going. Vinny hit a line drive for a controversial double on a base when Vinny tried to stop, the base moved with him. But a lot of people called him safe, so he ended up being safe. I hit a single to tie it, and then JT Collins hit a sac fly that I scored on. A couple errors an error by the Panthers. And then but it's we're excited. It's a big series. It's gonna be fun. The Llamas are coming off a big series against the Sharks. Like if they would have lost 1 or 2 games against you guys, their season was going to be even harder to come back from. And that they were able to pull out at least just 2 ties and a win, that was huge. So it's going to be fun. We're excited for it. I wish it was kind of like this. I wish it was kind of sooner than later because I really want to play. But it's good we get a break. It's nice to kind of relax a little bit. But I'm excited. It's going to be good. I hope both teams have their full rosters out there so we get the best against the best.
Yeah, we are a week and a half away from that series. That will be happening on July 12th. So I don't know what kind of live streams there will be for that, if there is any. So just look into that. That might be the last series of the year, which will be a good ending to the year. As one of these 2 teams is not going to make the playoffs, which if you told me that before the year that the Llamas would not make the playoffs, I would have been very surprised. But this is basically whoever wins this series will move on. So. And the other team will be going home, will be done for the year. So there'll be a weird feeling, with these. Get 7 teams looking for 4 spots makes things a lot more interesting. And I don't think anyone saw the Apes doing this well. So I think some people might have thought that these 2 teams will be in pretty quickly. However, that's not the case. One of these teams will be in, one of these teams will be out. So just stay tuned for that on July 12th. But looking forward to things very much there as we look to finish off this season. Give a little quick standings rundown for you. Apes currently sit at a record of 12-3. Sharks are currently in second place with a record of 9-4-2. Panthers sit in third place with a record of 10-8. Which we got to try to figure out the standings and stuff because Panthers have already played 3 more games, so that's why I put the Sharks second. So if you don't like it, then blow me. But Llamas are currently have the lead. They're currently in fourth with a 7-6-2 record. Dolphins have a 7-7-1 record, and then sixth place are the Penguins, who are 4-11, and the Cobras are in last place with a 2-12-1 record. So that's how things stand at the moment. We'll see how things finish off for this Socal season. Very much looking forward to it from a number of different perspectives. Especially with your guys' series and who's going to win that one. So I'm looking forward to it. be a
I am
good
too. It's
into the
going to be
summer.
good.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough SoCal chat for now. As we mentioned earlier, you were not able to be there for day one of the World Series due to the fact that you were in Arizona. The regular season just wrapped out for BOW. If you want to go into that and give a little preview of what's going on over there in BOW in Arizona.
Yeah. So we just wrapped up our season slate. We just ended final slate. We ended off very strong for the Diamonds. We actually beat. We were not expect like we did the upset and took the series against the Cougars 2-1. And Keaton threw excellent games throughout the whole. Keaton threw all 3 games and threw 2 of the games were excellent. And the first one he just gave like 1 homer or like a couple hits that like changed. So he threw excellent. We are going into the playoffs as we're the so the 1 seed I believe is the Wolves. No, the altitude. The altitude of the 1 seed. Okay, okay. Let me. I got this. Altitude's the 1 seed. The Wolves are the 2 seed. The Cougs are the 3 seed. The 4 seed is us. The Panthers the 5 seed, and then the Extreme the 6 seed. So we are playing the Panthers in the first round. We're gonna go play against them, which we actually wanted to play against them. We just really felt that was a good matchup for us. They beat us in the series earlier in the year, but we feel that would be it's going to be a good back and forth game. And then Extreme versus Cougars, which I think, not to be mean to the Extreme, I just think the Cougars have that pretty easily.
Well,
unless Igneous comes out with brand new pitching.
14 on the years, so.
Yeah, so it's not to be mean. It's just, and their only win was with Brody Livingston. So, and Brody's not going to come out unless he flies out for it, which I don't think he's going to fly out for it. So yeah, so that's pretty much the setup. Whoever wins our series against the Panthers plays the Altitude, and then whoever wins the Extreme series or the Cougars Extreme play the Wolves, which I am very blessed because I want to play Lede very bad against. So I really hope we're able to win the first series if that's in God's plan, and then the second hopefully get to play the Altitude. And so yeah, so that's kind of the setup for BLW right now. Oh, and just a little shout out, talking about winning things. I won also again MVP. Yay! God is good. I hit a 3-run homer to pretty much. We were down 1-0, and then I hit a 3-run bomb off my own teammate Keaton, and then I threw 2 scoreless innings. Yeah, see, Steven, I didn't say anything. And yeah, and so yeah, that's kind of what's been going on in Arizona. So 2 very, very important series for both SoCal and BLW coming up for me.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if they were on the same day.
That would really be a shame because I'd probably go out to Arizona. I'm going out to Arizona.
You heard it first, Vinny.
Like, Vinny should know that. Like, I'm going out to Arizona if I need. Like, I can't. Like I love the Dolphins, but they don't need me as much as the Diamonds kind of need me. Like the Diamonds, that's like where I was a big part of the lineup where like it's like me and Keaton are the big 2 hitters, and then it's like me and Keaton are the 1-2 punch for that team. For the Dolphins, we have Brian hitting well, Vinny hitting well, possibly Jackson Albers can come out maybe, and so we also have Rex who can hit sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. Rex hits the bat on ball a couple times, but yeah, we have Brian and Vinny who can hit really well. So I'm not as worried about the Dolphins as I'm worried about the Diamonds being there for them.
We shall see. We shall see what happens. That'll be keeping live streamed on the Big League Wiffle Ball YouTube page. So
shout out Big League Wiffle Ball. Shout out Big League Wiffle Ball podcast. Okay. I'm on one of the episodes if you want to listen. Shout them out. Love you guys. Big Logan Rose, Luke Rose, Carson Rose, Brody Livingston, Logan Christie, Lede, Joe Jankowski, Tom Jankowski, Ada Mahoney, Keaton Kimmel, Jake Isaacson, Reed Ross, Jackson Albers.
All right, how do I meet this guy? All right, we're good there. I'm hearing a little bit of.
Shout out everyone at BLW. Love you guys. You guys are the best. I excited. That's it. That's all I
saying,
got.
I didn't hear this kind of shout out when you were on their podcast. I'm just saying.
I shout you. I did shout you out. Get out of here. I shouted you guys out.
I didn't hear you mention every single player's name.
Justin
I didn't
Stagg,
hear that part.
Brian Owens.
No, we're good. We're good. We don't need that. We don't need that. We're good. No, shout
Vinny
out
Casella.
guy. All right. Well, we appreciate the rundown of Arizona. We've been talking for a while. We've had a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll have more stuff to talk about in the future and things like that as well. But you know, overall, you got any last words or anything else to add?
God is good. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for this little break. It's gonna be a nice little break before we continue back in the action. God is good.
Yeah, we get a break from OC Wiffle Ball. Fast pitch will eventually get started going soon. Get the Socal League in about a week and a half. Hopefully, this should be up by Friday. I'm hoping is my goal. But you know, other than that's been it here for us. Thanks for tuning into episode 60. We've made it to 60. Not kind of like the OC Wiffle Ball World Series. I don't know how we did it, but we're still here. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been Steven Hayden, and this has been Tommy Hernandez over there. Stay tuned for more episodes and possibly some more interesting guests coming